Hi, I'm Melissa Krieger with DoYogaWithMe. This is a short, energetic morning hatha practice. I hope you enjoy it. Begin in a seated, tall position, cross-legged if that feels comfortable. If you need to sit up on something to help you be a little bit more comfortable and taller, you could use a block or a pillow. Ideally, your shoulders are dropping down, so the collarbones are a little bit wider, and the shoulder blades get a little broader at the back. You could also draw your head back a little bit, so gauging that the earlobes are more or less right over the center of the shoulders. Close your eyes if that feels comfortable. Relax your jaw. And start to settle into your breath, letting the inhale and the exhale be about equal in length. As you're breathing here, you might think about drawing your inhale down a little bit lower, so trying to pull down to your low belly or even your hips, and also breathing a little bit wider, like you're breathing out to your rib cage. The inhale is the part of the breath that wakes us up, so this is the part I want to emphasize a little bit more, just feeling that inhale be strong. Thinking a little bit more about the exhale, it also plays a big role to help stabilize you and connect into your core. So the inhale is full, deep, wide, and the exhale is really thorough. So trying to blow all your breath out, and it's a bit stronger and potentially a bit sharper. Big inhale in, and then that strong, sharp exhale through the nose or even through the mouth. You might be able to notice that your core muscles start to engage. So your deep abdominals, the deepest layer of your abdominal muscles, your transverse abdominis, they engage, and your pelvic floor muscles do as well. So the muscles at the base of the pelvis. This is a bit more subtle, so you might not notice pelvic floor, but you might feel your tummy a little bit. So still, big inhales. Thorough exhales. So that's one way we find our core. The other way is that we encourage the low belly to pull back just a little bit more and the pelvic floor to draw up a little bit as well. So put that together with that long exhale. Big inhale in and then long exhale out. Plus pelvic floor pulls up a little bit, low belly pulls back a little bit. Getting a big inhale in is key. So if you can't hold that contraction and breathe at the same time, you won't. You'll just let it go. But refocus on the exhale, blow it out. Abdominals, pelvic floor engaged. Inhale, get the breath in. Exhale, blow it all out. So as best as you can, try to move like this throughout the practice. So we're using both parts of the breath in different ways. Inhale, wake us up, bring us in some energy. Exhale, blow the breath out, find your core. Bring your hands down beside you. Inhale, one arm stretches up to the sky. Exhale, lean to the side. Inhale, back up. Exhale, over to the other side. As you move here, keep your shoulders away from your ears, so both elbows potentially need to bend. And keep the pelvis fairly level. So even as I tip off to one side, I'm letting the other side of the pelvis press down. Lean to the side, stretch through the ribs. One more, inhale up. Exhale over. Come on back through to center, and then just move your ribs a little bit. So it could be a bit more isolated through the rib cage, or it could be a bit more circular around your waist. It doesn't matter. And then take a few circles in the other direction, please. Come back through to center. Cross your legs the other way. Maybe walk the hips back a little bit and take those rib circles. So part of our yoga practice is breaking patterns. We often cross our legs the same way, so just switching it up will help us get into stretches on the other side and sometimes balance out some imbalances we have. Circle the other way, please. Keep the breath smooth and steady. It's easy to forget about it and go back to that short, shallow breath. Sitting up tall. Inhale, sweep your arms up to the sky. Exhale, take a turn. So one of your arms reaches forward, fingers down. The other arm's back behind you, fingers down. Look over your back shoulder. Inhale, stretch up again. Exhale, twist the other way. Inhale up. Exhale, twist. Inhaling up, use your abdominals. Use that exhale to help you turn. Breathe up. Twist. Last one, up nice and tall, and release. Stretch your arms up to the sky on the inhale, release down. Take the legs out in front, just give them a little bit of a shake out. Come onto your side, please. You can prop yourself up with your arm. Keep your bottom knee bent for balance, and then bend your top leg. See if you can grab that foot. To increase the quadricep stretch, think about pulling the thigh back rather than the thigh up, so we're keeping the knee in better alignment. This movement pattern will come up a lot in practice, so we're just starting to get into it now. Stretch out this last breath. And exhale. Release. And come to the other side. Not only does this movement pattern come up a lot in our practice, but it works really well with what we're trying to do, wake you up and give you a little bit of extra energy. So it's a very gentle back bend. We're opening through the shoulders and the hips, places where we tend to be tight. We also spend a lot of time in a seated position, so right away we're opening through our tight areas. Stretch out this last breath, please. And release. Push yourself up to all fours. Have the wrists underneath the shoulders and the fingers flared out really wide. Have the knees underneath the hips. Take a breath. Exhale, drop your head, push your mid back up to the sky. Inhale, belly drops forward. Imagine you're pulling your chest through your shoulders, so shoulders stay away from the ears. Exhale, round the back. Inhale to arch. Come back through to center. Feeling lots of length through the spine, so a neutral position. There's a little bit of an inward curve through the low back. And then with the head, drawing the head back just a little bit. We tend to go face first on a lot of things. So head pulls back a bit, chin tucks in slightly, head's in the same line as the spine. Waking up your core a bit, you'll breathe in. Big exhale, blow all the breath out, connect into your core. One leg stretches behind you, opposite arm reaches forward. One breath here, you're straight and strong. And then exhale to release. Inhale. On the exhale, extend the other leg back behind you and its opposite arm reaches forward. Reach through your fingers and toes. One breath here. Exhale, release. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale, find your core. Leg extends back, opposite arm forward. Take a breath. Exhale, let it go. Inhale. Exhale. One leg behind, opposite arm forward. Nice strong breath here. And then exhale to release. Taking that a little further, inhale. Exhale, find your core, so stabilize. Keep looking down in between your hands. One leg behind you. Opposite arm forward. Making this more challenging, you could bend your back knee so your heel's coming closer to your backside, and maybe with the same arm, you can stretch back to see if you can find that foot. So the same bind as before, but definitely more of a challenge here with your balance. Making sure the back knee feels okay. There's a twist here. So if it doesn't feel safe, please feel free to just release the leg. You could still be stretching back, but keep the heel and the knee in the same line. Take one more breath. And then exhale, release out and lower down. Just let the hips move a little bit. Give yourself a bit of a breather. Come back through to center, strong and stable. Big inhale, big exhale. The other leg stretches behind you. Its opposite arm reaches forward. You can stay right here, or maybe that back knee bends, and potentially this arm can come back and find the foot. Sometimes you can't find it. Sometimes you don't have the flexibility to make the bind. It doesn't matter, you just go where you can. Try not to hyperextend this bottom arm. Keep breathing using your exhale and your core. And one more breath here, please. And then release. Let it go. Just push back into child's pose for a few breaths, so take your knees a little bit wider apart. Let your forehead come down to the mat or your hands. Push back into all fours. Take the hands a little bit further up and a bit wider, so the pinky fingers are probably touching the sides of the mat. Tuck your toes under. Let your belly drop a little forward. Take an inhale. And then on the exhale, press your hips up and back for downward dog. We're making this a bit more dynamic. So inhale back into all fours. And then exhale, downward dog. Inhale, all fours. Exhale back. Last one. And come up and stay. Here, you might need to bend your knees a bit more. Your heels won't necessarily touch the mat, it's fine. What's really important is that you're pressing your hips up and back. So the hands are pushing down into the ground and forward. Head, neck, just able to relax. If this isn't the best pose for you, you could always rest in child's pose instead. You might walk it out, starting to get a little bit more into the calf muscles. Keep that breath big. Think about trying to breathe into your armpits in this position. Walk your feet a little closer together. And on your next inhale, stretch one leg way up to the sky. Bend the knee and bring the foot up in between the hands so you're coming into a lunge. If the foot doesn't get all the way up, just use the hand at the ankle. Front ankle and knee are in the same line. It's quite a deep bend into your front knee, and you can keep the back knee up. Stay here for a few breaths, please. Chest and shoulders are open, the back of my neck is long, so I'm just looking forward, just to the front of my mat a little bit. Big inhale in, and then on the next exhale, push all the way back and up to downward dog. Pause for one full round of breath. And then stretch the other leg way up to the sky. Bend that knee, bring that foot up in between the hands as best as you can. Big bend into the front knee as you let the pelvis drop down. And then maybe you're on your fingertips or your fists, looking a little bit in front of your mat, letting your pelvis drop forward. Take a big inhale. And then exhale, push all the way back to downward dog. Full round of breath here, please. And then bend your knees, look to your hands, start to move your feet up towards your hands. Have some space between your feet and your toes. Slide your hands to your shins, Breathe up halfway, lengthen the spine and the legs. You'll notice that I'm not rounded here, so my back is quite long and I'm looking just slightly in front of my mat. And then exhaling to fold right back down again. So the arms could hang, or you could grab your elbows. As long as your head can relax so your neck is soft. And just feeling that the weight is pretty even in the feet. So it's right in the center of the feet rather than all back in the heels. If you find you don't have a lot of flexibility in the hamstrings, don't worry about it. You just probably need to bend your knees a lot more here to let your torso hang. That extra flexibility will come with practice. And slide your hands to your shins again. Breathe up halfway, lengthen the spine and the legs. Exhale, fold right back down again. Push your feet really strong into the floor and roll yourself up one vertebra at a time. The head can come up last, and then roll your shoulders back. Maybe circle your arms back. And then just give everything a good shake out. Your arms, your legs, your hips, your shoulders. Come up to the top of the mat, please. Lift one knee up and step it back about a leg's distance back. So we're coming into Warrior B. Your back toes are turned in just a little bit. Your front toes point forward. You can sweep out through the arms, drop the shoulders down, and then bend into your front knee. It's really important here that you can see the tip of your big toe in your front foot, and also that your knee's moving to the baby toe side, so your knee isn't collapsed. Once you're here, you're tall in the torso, and then stretch out through your triceps. Let your front arm stretch up and bend back. Let your back arm bend, thumb down, and then reach around. Maybe your hands can connect, but don't worry about it if they don't. Bending into that front knee, the knee is still opening to the baby toe side, looking wherever it feels comfortable for your neck. One more full round of breath. And then release the bind and the legs. Step back up to the top of the mat. Shake it out. Other side, lift the knee up. Step it back that leg's distance back. Toes turn in a little bit. Open out through the arms, drop the shoulders, bend into the front knee. Watch that front knee, make sure it rolls open, and then the tricep stretch. Top arm stretches up and back. Back arm thumb down. Maybe the bind happens, maybe not. Deep bend into the front knee if that feels okay. And then a few big breaths here. Last full round of breath. And then straighten up, release your arms, step forward, shake it out. Triangle pose. Lift one knee up, step it back. Maybe a little shorter than that first stance. Back toes are turned on more of a diagonal, so are the hips. Sweep out through the arms, drop the shoulders down, pull your back hip behind you first, and then reach as far forward as you can. Thinking about lining up your torso over your leg. Eventually that hand comes down, maybe just the thigh or the knee or the shin. Roll the torso open, shoulders sink. Draw the head back a little bit, tuck in the chin slightly. It's quite a narrow pose. You can be looking to the side, or if it doesn't bother your neck, you could look up to the top hand. Look down to your front foot, bend into your front knee, use your leg strength, bring yourself back up again. Release your arms, step your back foot forward, give the legs a shake. And other side, lift up the knee, step back. Find that kind of medium wide stance. Back toes and hips are on a diagonal. Reach out through the arms, legs are straight and strong. Pull your back hip behind you first. Reach forward and forward and forward. Keep your torso lined up over your legs, and then eventually you come down. You'll notice the lines in my body are still quite long, so I'm trying to maintain this length through the bottom line of my torso, so I'm not collapsing. And it's almost like I'm pressing my hips forward a little bit as I draw my upper body and my head back. Again, you can look just straight ahead for you, or maybe up to that hand if that feels okay for your neck and your balance. Look down to your front foot, bend into that knee, and use your strength, come back up again. Release your arms, step forward again, shake it out. A variation on warrior, step one leg back behind you, but your back heel stays up the whole time, and have a little bit of a gap between your heels, so that'll help your balance a bit better. Bring your hands to your hips, let both knees bend, and then let your tailbone drop under and your pelvis kind of scoop forward. So the hips are fairly even. Stretch your arms up to the sky, drop your shoulders down. So look towards your leg, see which is your front knee. Your opposite arm drops forward, other arm stretches back behind you. So coming into a twist. Keep the torso tall, stretch out through the fingers, and breathe. One more full round of breath. And then turn your torso forward again. Straighten your legs, release it, shake it out. Other leg steps back. Find that gap in the heels. Find your core, so blow your breath out. Get into the abdominals, the pelvic floor. Both knees bend. Tailbone drops under a little bit, kind of scoops forward. Arms reach to the sky. Shoulders drop down. The opposite arm to the front leg drops forward, the other arm behind you. Looking to the side is a bit more challenging for your balance. If you need a modification, you can look forward. If you want more of a challenge, you can look over your back arm. Turn forward again. Straighten the legs, drop the arms, release, shake it out. One more. A bit more of a balance. Have a stationary point to focus your eyes. Find your core, that always helps a lot. Shift your weight into one foot. It doesn't matter what foot it is. Try to let your toes spread wide so you can ground into the floor. Take a big exhale. Engage abdominals, pelvic floor. Bend the other knee behind you. Take that quadricep stretch. So we've been here before. Your opposite arm can stretch up to the sky. Shoulders drop down. You could stay just like this. You could kick your foot into your hand and start to tip forward. So the foot kicks into the hand. I press the leg back. I'm opening through my shoulders and my hips, those universal tight spots again. I have more flexibility through my ribs and my low back, so I'm trying not to pop my ribs out, maintaining their sort of in, so I can get the true opening hips, shoulders. Come on, back up again, please. And then release it, shake it out. For a lot of people, especially women, we have a lot of flexibility there through our low back. So just being aware of that the flexibility is here and not just here. Switch legs, toes spread wide. Exhale, blow your breath out, find your core. Take the quadricep stretch first. You can just stay there. The arm can stretch up to the sky. You can just stay here. Or you can kick the foot into the hand, start to lean forward. So find that extension through the body. The leg you're standing on can be fairly straight. Keep breathing. And then come on and bring yourself back up again and let it go. Shake it out. Come to the top of the mat, toes spread wide, hands into prayer. Everything kind of draws in towards the center line. Take an inhale in. Exhale, drop your hands. Inhale, sweep them up. And exhale, dive forward. Inhale, up halfway, lengthen through the spine. And exhale to fold down. Now just bend your knees and bring yourself into a high kneeling position. We'll start to stretch out through the side body. So one leg extends out to the side, doesn't matter what leg. Your toes can more point forward or off to the side, whatever's more stable. The same arm as that extended leg just rests. Take an inhale, breathe your arm up. Remember to drop the shoulder down and take a little lean towards that extended leg. So a really nice side stretch. You can be looking straight ahead, or if it's safe for your neck, you might look a little bit beyond this upper arm. One more full round of breath, please. Bring your torso back up and pull that leg back in. Switch sides. So find what's more stable here. Up nice and tall. Arm rests on the leg. Top arm stretches up and over. Shoulders release. Looking straight ahead or looking up a little bit. Side stretches not only feel really wonderful, but they're a great way to get out of flexion. Flexion is essentially a seated position, and most of us sit too much. So this helps to balance things out. One more full round of breath, please. And then come on back up again. Pull that leg back in. Other leg extends out. Stretch your arms out to the side. This time you drop down away from the leg. And the top arm stretches up, maybe over. So the hips push forward a little bit as the torso draws back. You can stay just like this. It's a really nice side stretch. Or you could experiment with letting your top arm stretch up. Take an exhale, find your core, lift your back leg. So this is essentially a side plank. You could make it into the quadricep stretch by bending your knee, maybe finding that foot. Remember, watch that the hips don't push forward, right? Or sorry, that the ribs don't push forward. You're trying to find the flexibility in the hips and the shoulders. Take another full round of breath. And then release it. Drop that leg down. Push yourself back up. Switch. So lots of height. Find your core. Extend your arms. Go away from the leg. Top arm stretches up, maybe over. Hips push forward a little bit. You can stay just like this. It's a wonderful stretch. Or make it a side plank. The arm can stretch up to the sky. You want to find your core a little bit here before you move into it. So take a good exhale, get your core, lift the leg. Side plank, you can stay or bind it. Bend that back leg. Reach back, try to find the foot. Again, we're opening through the shoulders, the hips, our universal tight spots. The places that get even tighter because we sit so much. One more full round of breath. Release the arm and the leg. Let the foot drop down. Push yourself back up again, please. Bring that leg back in. Come to your seat. Depending on your hips, for some of you, having your bottom leg straight and crossing the top leg over makes the most sense for this twist. Some of you have a little bit more space, so you could explore bending your bottom knee. Try, though, to have that knee pointed as forward as possible. And if this is uncomfortable on your knee, please just keep the leg straight. Top leg crosses up and over, regardless of what the bottom leg's doing. Readjust your hips a little bit. Take your opposite arm to that front leg. You can hug the knee in towards the chest or cross the arm over. The other hand's behind you. Inhale for height. Drop your shoulders. Exhale, take your twist. Mid back, upper back, maybe your head. One more full round of breath, please. Release the twist. Switch the legs. So the bottom leg tucks in if it can. If it can't, no big deal. Keep it straight. Bottom knee points as forward as possible. Top leg crosses over. Readjust your hips. So really tall. Opposite arm to that leg, hugs in or crosses over, other hand's behind you. Get your height, drop your shoulders, turn, mid-back, upper back. You could look over your back shoulder if that's safe for your neck, but if not, you can just keep your chin over your chest. Draw your head back a little bit so you've still got your earlobes lined up with the center of your shoulders. Last full round of breath. And then release. Start to make your way down towards your back, please. On your back, move the chin a little bit closer to the chest, so the back of the neck is long. Your arms can just be down beside you. Gauge that your hips, knees, and heels are all about the same distance apart, and you've got a strong foundation with your feet pushing right into the floor. Take a big inhale. Big exhale, push those feet down, lift your hips up so you're coming up into a bridge. You could keep your arms just beside you, or you could link up your hands, and you could roll over to one side, pull that shoulder underneath you, and then roll over to the other side, that shoulder rolls underneath you. When you roll onto your back, you've got your shoulders quite open, so your chest is opening more, and you don't have quite as much space at the back body. Watch that the knees aren't splaying out. You've got that firm foundation with your feet, and your backside is a little bit engaged. Take a couple more breaths here, please. And then you can release the arms. Draw your hips down. Pull your knees in towards your chest. You could move a little bit here. You could take happy baby, let the knees go wide, flex the feet to the sky. The hands can come behind the legs, like the thighs, the shins, the ankles, some of you the feet. You could rock a bit from side to side if that feels good. Bring your feet down to the ground, please. Setting up for Savasana, your palms are face up, your arms are a little bit away from your body. Your knees can be bent if that feels better for your low back, or your legs could straighten out along the floor. The chin just nudges a little closer to the chest, the shoulders still away from the ears. And then just allow yourself to totally relax. You don't need to control your breath or your core. You just get to rest and soak up the practice. Start to bring a little bit of awareness back to your body, please. And let your inhale get a little deeper, a little stronger. Add some movement. I think you could wiggle your fingers and your toes. Nod the head from side to side. Maybe open and close your eyes a few times. You might go for a big stretch, big yawn. And when you're ready, bend your knees and roll over to your side. Use your bottom arm like a cushion. Take a breath or two here. And press yourself up, please. Coming into a cross-legged position. Bring your hands to a prayer position. Let your head bow down and your eyes close. Thank yourself for practicing, taking this time out of your busy life to do your yoga. And thank your body for all its hard work. Feeling some gratitude for your health and your strength and your ability to practice. Open your eyes. Lift your head. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.